All across the ice belt, there's a common species that is chased by anglers, the crappie. Oftentimes, anglers travel hours down backroad logging trails in pursuit of the best bites. But the truth is, the biggest crappies and the sickest bites are all much closer than you think. They're all located in the Twin Cities metro area. In this series, we will be pursuing the biggest crappies caught on camera, all within a 60-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis. I myself am an average ice fisherman. That's why I've recruited two of the best ice fishermen in the Midwest, Matt Waldron and Adam Griffith, to help me on this endeavor. Our crew will aim to educate, entertain, and ultimately help you catch the biggest crappie in your life. Stay glued and stay tuned because we're on the hunt for megas. Welcome to the Crappie Chronicles. The Crappie Chronicles is presented by Vexilar and filmed in collaboration with Amped Outdoors, Icehole Power, Thorn Brothers, and Clam Outdoors. Hello everybody, welcome to episode 6 of the Crappie Chronicles. As you can tell, this is not the usual backdrop I have when I start off these episodes. I'm actually down in Alabama right now fishing the first ABT 100 event on Lay Lake. So I'm really looking forward to get bass fishing going. If you're looking for some bass fishing tournament content, you'll have some more series coming from me in regards to that. But we are still rolling with the Crappie Chronicles. Since I'm in Alabama, you're only going to get one episode this week and one episode next week, so I apologize for that, but they're both great, and thank you so much, everybody, for the support. It has been unbelievable. With that said, there is merch for sale for this series. Me, Waldo, and Griff would all really appreciate it if you support us, so if you want to cop some apparel, there's a link in the description below. With all that said, as you know, the first 5 episodes of the Crappie Chronicles have been awesome. You've seen some grinder bites, some slug fests, us getting some giants, just working hard for big ones, and really showcasing what this whole series is about. Today's episode is a slug fest. I'm really excited to show you the type of incredible bite you can get into within 60 miles of Minneapolis. So needless to say, I'm not going to talk anymore, and thank you for watching the Crappie Chronicles. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Crappie Chronicles. I'm going to make this really short and sweet because we need to get out there. The sun's rising, the bite's hot right now. We are fishing another lake today. It is basically a floodplain. Yes, we are fishing some more backwaters, but that's because we told you we're going to show you how to catch some of the biggest crappies within 60 miles of the Twin Cities, and right now that's the hottest bite. Like I said, the sun's going up. These fish are eating kind of right at sunrise, so we're a little behind, but we're going to get out there and we're going to start whacking them, so stay tuned.
Throw down a couple tip-ups to see if we can't utilize the line so we can have 2, so why not use them, right?
Have you found that set lines really matter for big crappies?
Yeah, if you're in the spot where there's some big ones, you typically will get a fish here and there on them. It's just a good way to, maximize your, be more efficient, cover the area. A lot of times we use them just to find, if we can get a flag keeps going off in a certain spot, then we know that that's a little runway there, or they're using that area for a reason, so.
Like Griff was saying, we're going to set a few tip-ups out for these fish. Sometimes these really shallow fish, and the really big ones in general, you just want to get a minnow in front of some of them just to make sure you're not missing out on something. But I am setting up an iFish Pro. Griff has a conventional tip-up out. It's just kind of what you prefer. And I prefer an iFish Pro just because of hook sets. It makes it a little bit easier. All right, guys, Griff and I are officially set up. We each have a tip up out right now. He's starting with a tungsten jig. I'm starting with a spoon. Like I said, we're fishing a floodplain today. So basically it's 5 feet deep everywhere here. These fish are trapped. The only way they can get here really is if we have a bad flood. And that happened a couple of years ago, and there really hasn't been one since. So they're really just trapped here. And there's just some absolute monsters. The big thing with these shallow crappies is, though, we have to just kind of move around because they're not going to really school up. They're just going to be onesie twosies. That's why the set lines are really important. But we're going to get after it, see if there's any sort of pattern to what they're eating or not, or if we just got to get lucky and drop it in front of one's face. I literally dropped my Vexilar in my first hole and there was a fish down here. This sucker just got cracked. There's our first one. Just a little guy. Man, choked. Man, there's our first one. A little whitey. Beautiful little fish. I mean, probably an 8-9 incher. Nothing crazy. Nice little eater. Get him back and get that minnow down if he's still alive. Sucker got crunched. Dude, I literally heard it. I looked over and my rod was just buckled. I was like, what the heck? That never happens. Yeah, I had one come in like right under the ice. It was like 2 feet down, so I couldn't see my spoon. I couldn't tell if I was at the right depth or not. The spoon's big spoon in this shallow water just leaves such a big trail of water, you know. Keep marking one in here, but I have a feeling he's a bluegill. I got a giant mark down here. About a foot off the bottom. It's only 4 feet over here. I don't know where he went, but yeah, he was like a foot off when I dropped down. Oh, that's because he's right on my spoon. Crushed it. That's a nice fish. There's one that came in. I mean, he was right under the ice, like 2 feet, and he just hammered this leech flutter spoon. This is like a bigger one too. It's the 1/8 size. It's not even the smaller one. Just crushed it. There's another smaller one. This is probably a 10 incher. Beautiful crappie though. See you, buddy. I would like it on record that this is probably the first and only time you'll see in this series that I caught a fish before Griff did. So all I'm doing here is just taking a leech flutter spoon and a minnow head. Honestly, like your walleye fishing, but I'm trying to eliminate these smaller fish, but that doesn't seem to be working because they're crushing this thing too.
That's a good start. Pretty good start to the morning. Got us a pretty solid one there. Not a giant by any means, but we'll put her on the tape here. 12 1/4, 12 1/2 maybe. But yeah, super tall fish. Beautiful white crappies. I'm gonna get her back here so she doesn't freeze up. But we're definitely finding they're actually up in the shallower water. Behind us it's like 5 1/2 feet. Right here it's kind of the edge of the channel when the current's flowing through here, so they're just running that channel. We've been finding that a lot this year, that they're not in the middle of these things. They're typically off to the side and running those ridges. They're not, you know, out in the middle just kind of meandering around. They're actually running, using this as structure. So another solid one. 11 1/2, maybe 12. Nice, beautiful white crappie. All right, we'll let her go.
There's another one. Man, it's hard to even graft these guys. They come in so hot and just absolutely mutilate it. And it's only 3 feet. Like Griff was saying, we're already finding a little bit of a pattern here. Come on, go back down. Finding a little bit of a pattern here, and that's there's a 5-foot hole, and they're not in the hole. We drilled up even shallower. We're in literally 3 feet right here, and we're catching way more fish already. So it seems like they're pushed up in really shallow water. I mean, Smash City, I never even graphed that fish. My rod just buckled over. Oh, there's another one. Where'd he go? I have a feeling, yep, I'm gonna get smoked soon. I don't know from what direction or where in the water column, but it's gonna happen. God, yeah, you just see him flicker a little bit, and then you're like, oh, where is he? There's one. That's a bigger one. Not crazy big. Another nicer fish. Got like 4 out of this hole now, and I barely graph them all. Look at that guy. It's a beautiful white crappie. See you, buddy.
All right, so when approaching a new body of water, you want to make sure you have a variety of presentations. Because if you've never been there before, you don't know the fish's tendencies, so you want to switch through different baits. If you get a lot of lookers and stuff, like today, I'm using a tungsten with a plastic. Bartusik's using a leech flutter spoon from Clam, and they've been just inhaling it when they come in. I mean, it's not really that we've seen a difference, but there will be days when you see a complete difference between the two, where they won't bite the spoon or they won't bite the jig, or the tungsten jig, and then you'll find that some days the big ones only want, either one. You just got to switch through them. Some days they don't want the spoon, some days they don't want the jig. So and then also, like, we had a variety of set lines out today. Like, we got a iFish Pro, we got a tip up. It's always a good idea, and they'll help you find the areas where the fish are. So if you start to see fish in your camera or on your Vexilar, throw those out, put them in some holes 20-30 yards off, and just kind of survey with them, because if they start going off, you can just start going and fishing over by them, and a lot of times that's how you find a lot of fish. Like, we have one hole that I went over there right next to the rod on the iFish Pro and just started whacking them. I don't know why, but they wanted to be over there.
Man, that guy slacklined me, and I have no meat on this spoon. Look at that. Just another one. Probably 10-11 incher. Just Crush City. This is awesome. I mean, we're smoking them already. We've been out here like 20 minutes. All right, guys, so what I got going on here is we do have a bucket full of minnows, but we think these tip-ups might play a factor in getting us a big one. And I got some Mackie Minnow XLs here that I got just for situations like this, where I don't think they really care too much if it's a minnow on this spoon. I think they just want the profile. So I'm just going to put this Mackie Minnow on there. It doesn't literally look the greatest, but I think it's going to be super effective. Crush City. That's a big one. Getting bigger. Mine have slowly been getting bigger. Griff just skipped to the 12 inchers. I've decided to work my way up. But what's good to see is I just put on that Mackie Minnow XL. This guy's all tangled in the line. So I just put on that Mackie Minnow XL, and I just bit off the tail, if you can see that, just to give it a little bit of a head profile. And yeah, nice 11.5, maybe 12 incher. But looking for much bigger. Whoa, he did not want to go down the hole. See ya. Oh man, that was a heck of an early morning bite. They were on fire. Obviously, we're looking for a bit bigger because, with the Crappie Chronicles, we want to show you the biggest crappies in the metro. But it's also really hard to complain when you're just catching quality fish after quality fish. It's just been a slugfest of 9 to 13 inchers. So that's a lot of fun. We're still obviously searching for like a 15-pluser, but you really can't complain about this type of bite. This is just a blast. And they are throttling everything, like down the gullet, buried. So that's a lot of fun. It is about 9:30, maybe 9:45 right now. I've been out here for about 2 hours. We beat them up really good to start. They were in fuego, and I couldn't really do any wrong. They were just flying in and crushing them. For the last 30 minutes, it has just gone death quiet. We cannot find them. So very obviously they have moved. Griff's now drilling a few more holes. I'm drilling some holes. We're just kind of looking around to see where they are, what they're relating to now. Earlier it was this little 3 foot to 4 or 5 foot break, but they have totally evacuated that now. So stay on the move. That's kind of what you have to do here, even in really skinny water. I feel like even more in skinny water, they like to just cruise, and they do it fast. But we should get on them again here shortly.
Got your ass that time. Got that one on the demon jig. Nice 11.5 probably. Send her back down the hole. Pretty solid one. Goodbye. I really want to see what a really big one looks like out of here. I mean, these like 12 inchers look like they're huge. Oh yeah?
Here we are fishing out a 6-foot bolt again.
Hey, my first black one of the day.
So what we're fishing today, guys, is a floodplain lake. So there's kind of differences with different river type systems. This isn't even really a river type system. So you got your backwaters, and when I think of backwaters, you think of places you can get to from the river via boat or anything like that. There's a lot of current driven stuff going on all the time on sloughs like that, different areas of backwaters, and there's a ton of those within 60 miles of the Twin Cities. And what we're on today is a floodplain lake. This is more of, it's landlocked. There's one little creek that kind of trickles into here, but not enough for any fish to get out or get a boat through. So what this allows is when we have big floods, fish will they'll come in here, they get trapped, and because there is a little bit of creek with a little bit of current coming through, it keeps them alive longer. So these types of places tend to be really fertile, and these fish go really, really fast. So they're a really good place to look for, you know, your higher caliber fish, whether it be, you know, giants or just looking for really good quality fish like we've been catching so far today, those 9 to, you know, 13 inchers. But a lot of people are scared of river systems. It gets kind of scary, but this is so landlocked. The ice is so good out here, and it's a lot of fun to explore these new places, and there's tons of them in your backyard. So I really encourage you guys to get out and explore these floodplain lakes. They're a lot of fun. Giant. Oh, not a giant, but a better one. Oh no, I just dropped him back down the hole. I had 3 of them marked over here. Boom, there's another nice one. That's much closer to 12, probably is, to be honest, but we're a little far away from the tape right now, and I had 3 of them down there. I'd really like to get a big one. Oh, I do have the tape right here. Bleach flutter spoon, just crushed. But Griff did have the tape on him, so we'll take a look. I'm pretty sure we're looking at 11.5, 12 incher. Oh dang! I don't know if you can see that. He's almost 13. Yeah, 12.5, almost 13. Really nice fish. Gonna get him back. Like I said, I was just marking 3 of them. Well, that was a beautiful release. See you, bud. Quick update. It's a little after noon now, and the bite has slowed dramatically. We had a little bit of a spurt around 11 o'clock where we went and drilled some new holes and we got into some more fish again. But we're not really sure what's going on. It just seems like a midday lull and they're just not around and not really eating. But we're just sticking it out. We're really looking for one fish at this point. We really just want a really big one. But a lot of times it's really hard to get one of those freaks to bite. So you just got to put in the time, which we're doing. And it is exhausting.
Yeah, Bart was over there giving an update, and I actually looked over at him, looked back at my Vexilar, and the big red line was sitting right where my jig was. Spring bobber was bent over, so yeah, pretty nice solid white crappie. Beautiful fish. Let's get her back before she freezes. So Bart's been saying, people have been asking about the schoolie. Basically the reason we use the schoolie is to have control of your jig more than like a spinning reel and even the inline reels. These things are, your jig doesn't spin at all. You can control the jig exactly what you're doing. It's doing down there. You know, a lot of rods are too stiff, whatever, but the schoolie allows it, because it's not just the reel, it's the rod and the reel. You want to get the right rod with the reel and then compare it to the jig size that you're using. You also, a lot of guys will change their line up based on what size jig they're using, so they'll have 2-3 of these, one with 2 pound, 3 pound, 4 pound for different mil jigs. So you got like 3 mil on the 2 pound, 3 mil on the 3, and so on, you know, and they'll change it based on the action and what they're, you know, how finicky the fish are. I think this allows you to catch fish when they really don't want to bite. You can almost give them a presentation they really don't see a lot, because a lot of jigs down there with spinning rods, they spin. You get a lot of memory in your line, because this is reeling it in straight. It's not spinning it on a spool like this. It's coming straight on the reel and going on. So when it goes on straight, it comes off straight, so your line doesn't spin, or your jig, sorry. But yeah, I broke off on that fish when I got him up the hole, so I'm gonna go ahead and retie.
We got a bunch of stuff going on. There's a bunch of stuff going on.
How deep is it there?
Oh, come here. Woo! There we go. Nice grab. That took no time at all. Just drilled some new holes, found a little weed patch. Nice 12-incher, now covered in snow, but I'm going to get him back. There's another one. Once again. Not even marked. Pretty cool when you get on a bite with fish that are so aggressive. For the most part, you never even mark them. And they're all this quality, 11, 12 inches. It's crazy. Still looking for a big one, but I'm not complaining about having my rod buckled over randomly every 10, 15 minutes. That's a bigger one. No, just kidding. Another freaking 11, 12 incher. When they come up the hole, these whites' mouths are so big, they look gigantic. But they are just choking this flutter spoon with a Mackie, just a cut off Mackie Minnow XL. Just using plastics. They don't seem to mind. See, like, And that is basically it for, I think this is episode 6 now of the Crappie Chronicles. What we've kind of told you all along is we're searching for the biggest crappies in the metro. Obviously, that also has its challenges. We can't go out and just catch 15s, 16s, whatever, whenever we want. I wish we could.
Yeah, it's definitely a process.
It is a process. But what we can't complain about is the bite today. Like, so many 10 to 13s.
Right.
So willing to bite. I mean, they were choking
it.
everything.
Everyone.
It was a blast. And just kind of on a new body of water, they were eating flutter spoons, tungsten jigs, tip-ups. I don't think it mattered.
Right. No. They got in front of them, they were eating it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Kind of like we've talked about, there is merch available, so please go check that out. Check out our sponsors. Make sure you subscribe and like this. Other than that, I guess all we have left is we're on to the next one. The Crappie Chronicles is presented by Vexilar.